Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS, and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. What we're about to discuss is something that could totally shake up the NFC East and, honestly, the entire NFL landscape for the upcoming seasons. Rumors are swirling around a potential blockbuster trade involving none other than Aaron Rodgers. And yes, you heard that right. Rodgers could be heading to the Washington Commanders. This isn't just some idle speculation. Insiders like Adam Schefter have been dropping hints that a deal could be on the table, with the Steelers possibly trading Rodgers to the Commanders in exchange for a first-round pick in 2026, plus a conditional second-rounder. It's a move that could redefine Washington's trajectory, especially as they look to optimize their roster for a genuine Super Bowl push. Let's take a deep dive into what this could mean from every angle. The Steelers, sitting at 8-6, are in a tough spot. Their defense has taken a hit after TJ Watt's surgery for a lung injury, and they're feeling the pressure to rebuild. Trading Rodgers, who's still a top-tier quarterback even at 42, makes sense for Pittsburgh. They'd get a hefty draft pick to develop a future QB while freeing up around $28 million in cap space. That cap space is crucial for them, especially considering their focus on drafting a successor post-Rodgers, who's still playing at an elite level. Despite his age, Rodgers remains one of the best QBs in the league, and his stats in 2025 back that up. 68% completion, over 400 yards, 24 touchdowns, just 12 interceptions, and a PFF grade of 88. 2, putting him firmly in the top 10 quarterbacks. He's also known for his high EPA per play, plus 0.28, and yards per attempt, 7.8, which are indicators of how efficient he remains. Throughout his career, Rodgers has amassed over 65. 0 passing yards, thrown around 500 touchdowns, and secured 4 MVP awards. His playoff resume is equally impressive, averaging about 4 touchdowns per game and supporting yards after catch with a 5.2 YAC. Sure, he's had some injury setbacks, like the calf injury in 2025 that caused him to miss a game. But overall, his deep ball accuracy still hovers around 55%, which is solid, especially considering modern NFL standards. His ability to evade pressure with a pressure evasion rate of 42% keeps him among the league's most elusive passers. Comparing him to late-career Tom Brady isn't far off. Rodgers continues to perform at a level that many would describe as elite, with a PFF grade often above 85. So why would the Steelers trade Rodgers? It's mostly about cap management and draft strategy. They're over the cap by about $10 million for 2026, and they're heavily focused on drafting a young quarterback to succeed him. Plus, there's skepticism about their playoff chances if they keep relying on their current defense and offense, which allows roughly 22 points per game. Losing Rodgers might destabilize their offense in the short term, pushing their projected offensive output down to bottom 15 levels, which is not what they want heading into a critical rebuild. But here's where it gets really interesting for us, the Washington Commanders fans. If this trade goes through, it could be a massive game-changer for Washington's season outlook. With Rodgers in the mix, the Commanders would instantly gain a veteran presence at the quarterback position, someone who, despite his age, is still capable of elevating the entire offense. The current quarterback room, with Sam Howell and others, would see a huge boost in confidence and production. Rodgers' arrival could push the passing yards from an average of 190 yards per game, ranked 28th in the league, to around 260 yards, significantly improving their offensive output. That's an 18% increase in EPA per pass, which translates to more efficient drives and more points on the board. Let's talk about the impact on players like Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson. With Rodgers at the helm, the deep ball connection would be a real threat again, something that's been missing during the last few seasons. McLaurin's 100 yards in 2025 and his impressive PFF grade of 89. 4 would be even more dangerous with Rodgers throwing him the ball. Samuel and others would also benefit, creating a more dynamic, explosive offense that could rival some of the league's best. The potential boost in total touchdowns, Adding around 25 more would be huge, especially considering how turnovers could decrease from 1/6 to about 1 per game. That's a massive improvement that could keep Washington in more games and give them a real shot at competing deep into the postseason. And don't forget the tactical advantage. Rodgers is known for his quick release, averaging around 2.4 seconds, which means fewer pressures and sacks. This would help protect the offensive line, which has had its struggles, and allow the offense to stay on the field longer. With the defense allowing around 28 points per game, time of possession becomes even more critical. If Washington can control the clock better, thanks to Rodgers' efficiency, they could keep their defense fresh, making it harder for opponents to score. From a broader perspective, this move would send shockwaves through the NFC East and the league. The Commanders, historically seen as underdogs, could suddenly become serious contenders. The odds to win the Super Bowl, which currently hover around plus 15-0, could plummet to around plus 5-0 on sportsbooks like DraftKings. That's a massive shift in perception. Rodgers' playoff experience, with over 50 playoff touchdowns and a reputation as one of the most clutch quarterbacks in NFL history, would make Washington a real dark horse. Their chances of beating rivals like the Eagles would skyrocket, with ESPN simulations showing their win probability against Philly jumping from about 30% to over 55%. That's not just hype, that's a game changer. Furthermore, Rodgers' ability to neutralize pressures with his quick release and exceptional decision-making could be a nightmare for defenses. His experience and leadership would bring a level of stability that the team has lacked in recent years. Imagine a Washington offense that resembles the 2022 Jets, an aerial attack that boosts yards by 150 per game after the arrival of a seasoned QB like Rodgers. It's not far-fetched to expect that he could help reduce turnovers and elevate the team's overall performance to a new level. Now, naturally, such a trade wouldn't come without risks. The Packers are unlikely to be involved directly in this deal, but the ripple effects could be felt league-wide. For Washington, adding Rodgers would require some salary cap maneuvers and strategic planning, but the potential payoff is enormous. It's about transforming a team that's been in rebuild mode into a legitimate Super Bowl contender. With the right pieces around him, like McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, and the improving defense, Rodgers could be the final piece that pushes Washington over the edge. The franchise's history is filled with moments of heartbreak, but this could be the start of a new chapter, one where the Commanders finally return to the top of the NFL. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, if this deal becomes reality, it will certainly be the talk of the offseason and could dominate NFL headlines for weeks. Fans will debate whether Rodgers still has the juice to lead a team deep into the playoffs, but the numbers and history speak for themselves. His presence would undoubtedly elevate Washington's chances of not only making the playoffs, but making a real run at the Super Bowl. The NFC East, already one of the most competitive divisions in football, would become even more intense with the Commanders suddenly emerging as a serious threat, especially if they add a quarterback of Rodgers' caliber. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you believe Rodgers is the missing piece to finally put Washington back on top of the league? Would you be excited to see him in the burgundy and gold? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. Let's keep the passion alive and keep dreaming big, because if this trade happens, the future of the Commanders might just be brighter than ever.